Hey guys, welcome back to Yankee Valley Outdoors, and in today's video we are going to be visiting some of the scenic sites on Mackinac Island. So it really doesn't need much of an intro, let's just get right into it. The wind is blowing a little bit and it feels like a nice day.
Okay, so our first stop behind me here is one of three cemeteries on Mackinac Island. There's one here that I'm not sure what the name of is, but the one behind us here is St. Anne's. St. Anne's has some of the oldest graves on Mackinac Island, one of the oldest being Mary Biddle. Mary Biddle died when she was about 8 years old. She died in 1833 after trying to cross the ice bridge. However, she got lost and fell through, which is now why they have the tradition of laying down the Christmas trees across when the lake freezes over. Like here, when it freezes over, they lay down Christmas trees to help guide the way. It's because of her tragic death at such a young age that they have that tradition now. And then over here, we have the Fort Cemetery, so that's where all of the soldiers who died here, whether in duty or not on duty, anyone who served at Fort Mackinac around the 1880s was buried there, if they so chose to. Most of them would not have died in any kind of a war, or maybe not even on Mackinac Island, because Mackinac Island didn't really see much of any kind of a battle. There was a couple here, but I don't know personally if any of them are buried here, because that was back during the War of 1812.
Here's just a little bbit of a view of the nice scenery here at the cemetery. Like, this is one of the most beautiful cemeteries I've seen. And they have this like giant, I think it's a black oak, and it has a hole in it. Probably a nest of a raccoon or something. All right, now we are about to walk back up to our bikes. So we're gonna walk up that way. But as you can see behind me, it's so pretty.
Yeah, and these stones underneath the sugar maple, this person was died in relatively recent in 2017. You can still be buried on Mackinac Island today if you were born here or lived here for an extended period of time, or have deep family connections to the island, like have like a relative or something who lived here for their life. But not just anybody can be buried on Mackinac Island. You can't just be buried here because it's pretty. You have to have some kind of familial tie to it.
All right, now we are done here at the cemetery. Gave you guys a decent look at it. Just didn't want to really like go in it and start filming tombstones. I think that's fair. So now we're gonna head to Fort Holmes. So I will pick up the camera when we get there. All right, so on our way up to Fort Holmes, we found a lookout right here, which is probably, in my opinion, one of the most prettiest, is that a word?
Sure.
Most prettiest areas on the island. And we found a little picnic table. Let's go up and look over it right here. It's so pretty. I believe that's Sugarloaf right there. Just such a good view of everything. The scenery here is spectacular. The way the clouds are like, I can't really describe what this is, but you guys just need to like, if you do get a chance to come to Mackinac Island, definitely check out the scenic sites. We're now gonna head back to Fort Holmes, unless we see anything else that's interesting and we wanna pick up and record. So right now we are headed back to our bikes, and the woods here look so nice. Like, this is like, I wouldn't say old growth. Then when you come over this way on the other side, it's more old growth, like that big pine tree, for instance. Bikes are right there. We're almost ready to head on our way to Fort Holmes. But just wanted to show you guys the canopies and just the nice shade we get under here. It feels like it's 20 degrees cooler under here.
So this here is Sunset Rock. Sunset Rock is one of the best views of Mackinac Island. It's not the highest point, but it's one of the higher points on Mackinac Island. When you reach the top, you can see both sides of Michigan at the same time, both the upper and the lower peninsula. You can see the bridge as well, and that connects the two.
So we're gonna walk up the steps, and then we're going to show you what all the hype is about this. The roots may be a tripping hazard. As you can see, the view is very pretty. I'm not exactly sure how old this is, but they did a great job putting the rocks together. I'm not the biggest fan of heights. You definitely get a great view.
That's the Upper Peninsula, so St. Ignace. And then following the bridge, that over there is the Lower Peninsula in Mackinac City.
If you come to Mackinac Island, definitely make sure you check out all the scenic sites and try to get as much as you can in, because I know a lot of people only come for one day. If you're gonna come for one day and spend $40 to come here on the boat, or is it $30?
$30.
$30 to come here and $30 to get off, make sure that you visit all the scenic sites and also bring food with you, because everything here is overpriced. There's a little boat over there. Just a little fishing boat.
There are kayaks for rent, so if you do want to come splurge a little bit, you can take kayak tours around the island.
All right, guys, we are now here at Fort Holmes. We just parked our bikes right there. We have another spectacular view of everything. The mainland looks really close from over here.
That one's Round Island, not mainland, love. That's the mainland.
Round Island?
That's mainland.
Okay, well, even the mainland looks close. But what is Round Island?
So Round Island is just a small little island that's, no one lives there full-time at all. There's pretty much just, there's some small camps out there. Round Island's just too small to be a commercial place, so it's just kind of a couple people own camps out there, but it's usually just for kayaking out too.
You want to tell us a little bit about Fort Holmes?
Yeah, so this is Fort Holmes. It was built by the British quickly after they captured the fort, Fort Mackinac, in the War of 1812. They built it here, called it Fort George, on the highest point of Mackinac Island, just so to help protect the backside of the island, because that's how the British were able to get Fort Mackinac, because the backside of the island was exposed. So they built this here so the Americans couldn't do what they did. It hasn't seen any battle. However, it's now called Fort Holmes because after the Americans were given Mackinac Island back after the War of 1812 was over and they won, they renamed it Fort Holmes, because it was named after King George, and they named it after, I believe his name was Andrew Holmes, but Holmes was his last name, and he was a general who lost his life during the War of 1812.
Now we're going to go on in the fort, and we'll see how much I can record, because it's kind of weird talking when there's people around. They just see you talking to your phone, and it's just like, maybe they'll think I'm talking to you though, so it'll work out.
Well, plus people don't really care.
If you want to read that plaque, you can pause. Just gonna go on in. This is cool. Obviously this has all been reconstructed because wood doesn't last that long out in the wind, out in the elements. Ooh, this is a cool design.
It was kind of designed like one of the turrets at Fort Holmes, not Fort Holmes, at Fort Mackinac, just like a corner turret. This is almost just kind of like a lookout, more of like an actual fight.
I'm gonna pause and read this because I don't feel like reading it and you probably don't either. Definitely very cool.
We're walking around it backwards.
We are?
We are, but that's okay.
Whoops, well, it can go this way.
In our defense, there were people in here when we first walked in.
This is a very new construction.
Yeah, it was reconstructed in 2015. Because after the Americans got the island back, they had no use for it. So they just kind of let it decompose.
Good restoration effort. It'd be cool to have a house like this.
That's gorgeous.
I'm gonna just read these. That's pretty much it. I'm not sure if we can go like up or anything.
No, we can go up here though.
So right there, you can actually see a little bit of Fort Mackinac. just a little bit of it, which we're not gonna go in Fort Mackinac because you gotta pay, but we'll go around the outskirts, or we'll just show it to you from the park in another video. But here's one last angle of the Fort Holmes, and now we are going to go on to our next location, which is
Arch Rock.
So we're gonna head to Arch Rock.
Okay, behind me here, Skull Cave. Skull Cave is one of the oldest formations on Mackinac Island. It was formed here whenever Mackinac Island was much higher, like sea level wise. So at one point this would have been caused by the waves like pushing into it. So at one point this was the shoreline, almost 11,000 years ago. And this is made mostly of limestone. And now it's here, like very, very close to where the highest point is, because the Lake Huron just whoosh right down.
We're not allowed to climb on it.
Upsetting.
Next location.
Now we're going to actually Arch Rock.
All right, guys. Now here we are up at Arch Rock. So tell them what we're gonna do.
Yeah. So behind us here, well, in front of me, behind you, now in front of you, is the Milliken Center, which is tells more about the formation of Arch Rock and the retreating of the water I was telling you about at Mackinac Island. Because at one point this was all submerged, and then the water retreated over millions of years, hundreds of years. I don't know exact days. I'm not a naturalist. But Arch Rock is probably one of the #1 highlights and scenic things that you can visit on Mackinac Island. So that's why there's tons of people here. If you take a carriage tour, the carriage tour does stop here. But it is gorgeous, and there's all kinds of different paths and nature things around it. The Milliken Center is actually very new and was just finished constructed this year and was just opened. It's a new structure by the state park, and it's actually super nice, and it's fun to look around. So, and it's free. Best part, it's free, so you can walk up here and check that out. And we're gonna meander over to Arch Rock here, but that's a ton of people, so over there we're not gonna do too much talking just because that looks a little bit weird. But we will show you the gorgeous view and the beautiful natural rock formation.
Nice addition right there is the bathroom. Oh my goodness, it's flooding with people.
Yeah, the view's not going to be spectacular today just because there's people everywhere. But the best time to come to Arch Rock is in the evenings, because most people are either gone off of the island or at one of the several bars that are here. So if you're going to see Arch Rock, come in the evening.
Do I got everybody? Okay, smile like you like everybody. Bananas!
Banana! And now we are headed to Devil's Kitchen, which is a natural rock formation on the side of the island.
So let's get right to this. It's a little toasty. So on the journey to the Devil's Kitchen, I noticed this rock. It has like really cool like squares in it. Maybe it's just like a giant big fossil. Like look at that. So cool. And there's like a big hole under here that something probably lives under. I don't know what this is. After taking the bike interstate, here we finally are at the Devil's Kitchen. This giant rock formation. Looks so cool.
Despite its size, it's actually only 350 million years old, and it's one of the youngest rock formations on Mackinac Island.
Overall, it's a really cool formation. I'm getting like a cool breeze in here.
The holes on the side of the wall, so the rocks were formed due to a constant beating of waves onto the side of the formation many years ago.
I wonder how many bugs live in here.
Ew.
Maybe even snakes.
Mackinac Island is home to a lot of gardener snakes. I don't wish to see any here.
Yeah, for being in an area with a lot of people, I've seen so many snakes. Ooh, there's a really cool formation. There's a spider web. I don't know if you can see it though. Yeah, you can. I don't see the spider though. Back up a little bit more. I'm not speaking very much because there's people everywhere. If you want to read this, you can pause and you can read this about the formation. There's a big hole right here. He's climbing here. I can just hide in here. You want to sleep in here?
No.
All right, I guess it's time to get back on the bike interstate. Yeah, the video, the footage of me like going down on the bike, that was so bumpy because then we had to like go downhill then get onto this. But this is very smooth, except for so many people. But the view of the water is spectacular, and this camera picks it up really nicely. Ignore the mismatched socks. That's about it for this video, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed our little scenic tour of Mackinac Island. It's been nice being here, but everything comes to an end. What do you want to say about our time here?
It's been a really good time. I'm ready to go home, but I wouldn't change anything.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to drop a like on this video, hit that notification bell, and subscribe for more content. We didn't hit all the Scenic sites, but we hit a lot of them. Don't forget to keep electrified.